Have you ever wondered why certain people irritate you instantly before they even say a word? Or why you feel an unexplained attraction, as if someone you barely know is carrying a piece of your soul? What if I told you that what you see in others is often a mirror of what hides within yourself? This is the mirror effect. In Jungian psychology, it is called projection, when the unconscious shadow paints its face onto the people around you. What you dislike in them may be the very trait you repress in yourself. What you admire in them may be the unlived potential of your own being. Pause for a moment. Think about that one person who triggers you, annoys you, or fascinates you beyond reason. What if it's not really about them? What if it's your own shadow reaching out, begging you to notice it? Here is the promise. If you can learn to catch your projections fast, you hold in your hands the golden key to shadow work. You no longer waste years in repetitive conflicts, broken relationships, or false idolizations. You begin to see clearly. This is me. That is you. No more confusion. And once you see it, you can integrate it. You can reclaim lost power, unearth forgotten desires, and transform irritation into wisdom. So stay with me, because in this journey, you will discover how every mirror in your life, the annoying boss, the demanding partner, the magnetic stranger, is not an obstacle, but an invitation to wholeness. Carl Jung once said, "Everything that irritates us about others can lead us to an understanding of ourselves." This single sentence is a doorway into shadow work, and at the heart of it lies what we call the mirror effect. But what exactly is the shadow? Jung described it as the collection of traits, impulses, and emotions we reject, repress, or deny within ourselves. These aspects don't disappear. They live in the unconscious, waiting for a stage where they can secretly play out, and often, that stage is other people. When you feel triggered, it is rarely random. A sharp reaction, anger, jealousy, disgust, even excessive admiration is a signal. Your unconscious has spotted in another person something you cannot yet hold in yourself. Instead of admitting, "Yes, that belongs to me too," the psyche protects you by pushing it outward. And so, you see it in them. That's projection. Why does this matter? Because projection is everywhere. It fuels arguments between partners, misunderstandings at work, political polarization, even the way we idolize celebrities. Without awareness, we live inside an endless hall of mirrors, mistaking our own hidden reflections for the faces of others. Imagine the cost of living this way. How many friendships are lost because you couldn't see your own impatience? How many opportunities fade because you projected your fears onto the future? How much of your authentic power remains locked away, trapped in the shadows of denial? Shadow work is not about blaming yourself. It is about owning yourself. When you recognize a projection, you reclaim energy that was unconsciously leaking into the world. Instead of being controlled by irritation, you learn from it. Instead of being blinded by admiration, you embody what you admire. Think of it this way. Every projection is a disguised message. Here is something you need to face. Some of those messages reveal wounds that want healing. Others reveal gifts waiting to be lived. Both are essential for your growth. This is why catching projections fast is so powerful. The quicker you notice, the less damage they cause in your relationships, and the sooner you can turn them into wisdom. You begin to see life with clearer eyes. You stop being pulled like a puppet by unconscious strings. In this series, we will explore the mirror effect in depth. You'll learn not only what projection is, but also how to spot it in real time, how to reflect on its meaning, and how to transform it into integration. Because the shadow is not your enemy, it is your most faithful teacher. And once you befriend it, you step onto the path of wholeness that Jung spoke of. A life where darkness and light meet, not in conflict, but in balance. Let me tell you a story. Long ago, in a quiet village, there was a lake so clear it was said to reveal not only a person's face, but also their hidden soul. Travelers came from far away, curious to see their true reflection. Some left in awe, others in terror, for the lake never lied. One day, a young man approached the water. He saw a cruel expression staring back at him, twisted with envy and anger. Horrified, he shouted, "This is not me! The lake is cursed!" He threw stones at it, but the image did not disappear. The more he raged, the darker his reflection became. He left, convinced the lake was evil. Soon after, a woman arrived. She gazed into the same water and saw a radiant figure, gentle, talented, and courageous. She whispered, "If only I could be like her." But the reflection smiled, as if to say, "You already are." She fell to her knees, tears streaming down her face, realizing that the gifts she saw were her own, long forgotten. The villagers learned something profound. The lake never showed lies. It revealed whatever part of the self you refuse to recognize, dark or light. This story is the metaphor of projection. Every person you meet is like that lake. They reflect something of you back to yourself. When you despise someone's arrogance, perhaps you have rejected your own authority. When you admire someone's bravery, perhaps you have buried your own courage. The reaction you feel is the clue. The mirror effect is not punishment, it is revelation. It is the unconscious speaking in images, saying, "Look here, this belongs to you." Think about your own life. Who is your lake? Who is the person that stirs envy, anger, or fascination? The truth is not in them, it is in the reflection they trigger. That is the shadow reaching for your attention. The beauty of this metaphor is that it shifts responsibility back to you, not as blame, but as empowerment. Instead of endlessly fighting shadows in others, you realize the battlefield is within. And once you face it, the reflection changes. Jung once said that until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life, and you will call it fate. The mirror effect is one of the clearest ways the unconscious reveals itself through the faces of others. So next time you look into someone's eyes and feel that surge of irritation or longing, pause. Ask yourself, is this really about them? Or is this my lake showing me what I need to reclaim? 3. Key signs that your shadow is projecting. 1. Strong emotional reactions that feel disproportionate. Have you ever been startled by the intensity of your own feelings? Someone makes a harmless remark, yet it lands like a blade. A colleague succeeds, and instead of inspiration, you feel jealousy burning through your chest. The reaction is too big for the moment. That is the shadow revealing itself. What you reject in yourself refuses to stay hidden. It leaps out at the sight of another person, painting them with your own denied colors. If your emotions feel like a storm that comes out of nowhere, it may not be about them at all. It may be your own reflection staring back at you. 2. Repeated patterns in relationships. Life has a strange way of putting the same lesson in front of us, over and over, until we recognize it. Maybe you always find yourself with controlling partners, or bosses who never seem to respect you, or friends who drift away, leaving you with the same ache of abandonment. The faces change, but the story repeats. Jung warned us that until we bring the shadow into awareness, it will shape our destiny, and we will call it fate. These repeating dynamics are mirrors. They show us the qualities, the wounds, the fears we carry but refuse to claim. Ask yourself, what is the common thread? What is life trying to show me again and again? 3. Intense admiration or idolization. Projection does not only appear in negative form, it hides in the positive too. When you meet someone and think, they are flawless, they have everything I lack, that is also the shadow. It is the golden part of you, the creativity, courage, or radiance you have buried now shining in someone else. You worship them because you have forgotten that same treasure lives in you. Jung called it the gold in the shadow. The moment you recognize it, admiration turns into awakening. Instead of living through others, you begin to embody what you once believed was beyond you. Overwhelming reactions, repeating patterns, excessive admiration, each one is not a random experience, but a mirror. And the sooner you dare to look into that mirror, the sooner you stop being haunted by it and start being guided by it. 3. More signs that reveal hidden projections. 1. Blaming others for qualities you secretly carry. Notice how often your mind points the finger outward. She's so selfish. He's so arrogant. They're so lazy. Yet if you look closely, these accusations sometimes mask the very qualities you don't want to face in yourself. The unconscious plays a trick. It hides what you deny inside you by magnifying it in someone else. That is why the traits you despise most in others often have a secret link to your own behavior, fears, or desires. The real question is not, why are they like that? But, Why does this affect me so deeply? When the charge is strong, projection is near. 2. Feeling misunderstood everywhere you go. If you walk through life convinced that no one truly gets you, pay attention. Constantly seeing yourself as the victim of misunderstanding can be another projection. It may mean you are rejecting parts of yourself that you are unwilling to communicate or reveal. Instead of owning your complexity, you expect others to guess it, and when they don't, resentment builds. The shadow in this case is the hidden self that longs to be expressed but remains silent. The world mirrors that silence back to you through repeated feelings of isolation. Once you begin to voice what you've buried, the mirror changes. People start to meet you more authentically. 2. 3. Obsessive attraction toward the forbidden. Sometimes projection takes the form of irresistible fascination with what you consider off-limits. You might feel drawn to people, lifestyles, or desires that clash with your conscious values. Outwardly, you may condemn them, but secretly, they pull you like a magnet. This is the shadow's way of showing you what you've repressed. The attraction feels obsessive because it's not just about the other person, it's about your own unlived life pressing against the walls of repression. The forbidden becomes the mirror. What you condemn, and yet cannot look away from, often points to something within you that demands recognition. So consider this. When you're quick to blame, when you feel constantly unseen, or when you're magnetized by the very things you say you reject, these are not accidents. They are signals. Each one is the shadow holding up a mirror whispering, "This is you too." And the faster you catch it, the faster you step out of illusion and into truth. Final lessons for integrating the shadow. 1. Owning what you judge. One of the most liberating steps in shadow work is simply saying, "Yes, this too is me." When you notice yourself judging someone harshly, pause before condemning them. Ask, could this be a part of me I don't want to see? The moment you admit even a fragment of truth, the grip of projection begins to loosen. Judgment transforms into understanding. What once felt threatening becomes a teacher. The energy you wasted on denial returns to you as power. Integration is not about excusing bad behavior in others. It is about claiming responsibility for your own reflection. 2. Practicing radical self-honesty. Catching projections fast requires the courage to be brutally honest with yourself. It means daring to say, "I am jealous. I crave attention. I hide behind arrogance." At first, this honesty stings, but over time, it becomes freedom. Jung taught that we don't become whole by chasing perfection, but by embracing our opposites. Every time you confess your hidden truth, you integrate another piece of the shadow. And with each integration, life feels less like an endless hall of mirrors and more like a clear path. 3. Turning reflection into action. Awareness alone is not enough. Once you spot a projection, you must act on it. If you admire someone's courage, take a risk in your own life. If you resent someone's confidence, practice speaking your truth. If you feel magnetized by the forbidden, find a healthy way to explore the desire instead of repressing it. Action transforms insight into embodiment. The shadow doesn't just want recognition, it wants life. It wants you to live the qualities you have exiled. That is where true integration happens. Owning your judgments, practicing honesty, and turning insight into action, these are the final steps. They close the gap between who you think you are and who you truly are. And the closer those two selves come together, the less you project. And the more you live in clarity, freedom, and wholeness. Carl Jung once wrote, "Until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life, and you will call it fate." Few truths are more relevant to the mirror effect. Every projection you cast, whether through anger, blame, or admiration, is the unconscious trying to reveal itself. But without awareness, you mistake the message for reality. You think it's about them, when it has always been about you. The shadow is not a monster to be destroyed. It is the other half of your soul, longing to be recognized. In myths, the hero never becomes whole by slaying the dragon alone. He transforms when he realizes the dragon was guarding a treasure that belonged to him all along. Projection is the dragon. The treasure is the self you have not yet owned. Think about this paradox. The very traits you resist most fiercely are often the ones you most need to grow. Your impatience may hide your drive. Your arrogance may cover your buried confidence. Your envy may signal your unlived potential. The shadow disguises gold in darkness. And if you only run from it, you run from yourself. To catch projections fast is to interrupt the old story. Instead of sleepwalking through the same conflicts, you awaken. You begin to see people not as enemies or idols, but as mirrors. Every irritation becomes an invitation. Every admiration becomes a reminder. Life itself becomes a dialogue between your conscious self and your shadow. Jung suggested that wholeness does not come from perfection, but from integration. Light without shadow is blinding. Shadow without light is despair. But when they meet, something new is born, a deeper vision, a fuller humanity. The mirror effect offers this vision. It teaches you that the world around you is not separate from you. It is a canvas painted with your inner colors. To fight the reflection is futile. To embrace it is wisdom. So pause and ask yourself, who in your life is reflecting you right now? What qualities are you chasing, condemning, or hiding from? What if every face you see is a page in the book of your own soul, waiting to be read? The shadow's greatest secret is this. It never appears to punish. It appears to guide. And if you dare to look, the guide will take you where you most need to go. So here we are. We began with a simple but unsettling question. What if the things you see in others are really fragments of yourself? Along the way, we explored the nature of projection, the mirror effect that turns every irritation, every admiration, every repeated pattern into a hidden reflection of your shadow. You've seen how disproportionate reactions, repeating relationships, and even intense admiration are not random, they are signs. You've uncovered how blame, misunderstanding, and forbidden attraction are clues. And finally, you've learned that true integration comes when you own your judgments, practice radical honesty, and embody the qualities you once denied. This is the journey of shadow work. From darkness to awareness, from awareness to integration, and from integration to wholeness. Each projection you catch is not an enemy, it is an ally disguised as discomfort. Each reflection is a key, unlocking more of who you were meant to be. Remember this, the people around you are not obstacles in your path. They are mirrors. Some will trigger you, some will inspire you, all will reveal you. The faster you recognize this, the less you remain trapped in old illusions, and the more you live with clarity, power, and freedom. So the next time you feel that surge of irritation or the pull of fascination, pause. Ask, what is this mirror showing me about myself? That simple question can shift the course of your relationships, your choices, even your destiny. And now, the call is in your hands. If this exploration stirred something in you, if you found even one mirror that revealed your truth, don't stop here. Continue the work. Reflect, integrate, and grow. I invite you to join this journey. Subscribe for more explorations of Jungian psychology and shadow work. Share your thoughts in the comments. Tell me, which mirror in your life has taught you the most? And remember, every time you dare to face the reflection, you take one step closer to wholeness.